The 10-day period from Rosh Hashanah until Yom Kippur is a special time to focus on Teshuvah, which is a very profound shift of self. Teshuvah allows us the opportunity to reclaim who we truly are. It allows us to turn the clock back, to fill in the gaps when we've done things that we shouldn't have done, or to repair relationships that were damaged by neglect. Teshuvah is a very profound experience. And Teshuvah relates to the things we were meant to do that we might not have, or the things we should never have done that we chose to do. The question is, why would I do these things that are expected of me? Or why would I avoid those things that we're told we're not supposed to do? Ultimately, it takes a tremendous amount of effort. It's not necessarily convenient. It's not so comfortable. There are many things we'd much rather do were it not for the ban that the Torah places on these things. So what is it that prompts us to behave in a particular way? What is it that prompts us to conform to what Hashem expects of us? If we have no drive to do these things, if we have no reason to conform to the divine program, then we wouldn't want to do Teshuvah. We'd have no motivation to do Teshuvah. We'd feel no guilt over our choices. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, what lies at the core of our relationship with Hashem? If you were to speak about an employer and an employee, well, then you'd be able to explain what sits at the core of that is my job. So if my employer expects certain things of me, the reason that I'm doing those things is because we made a contract whereby I committed to do the things that are my job. And if I'm not doing those things, then I can expect that I'll be put on probation and possibly lose my job. So what motivates me is I've accepted the terms and the clauses of the contract that binds me in my employment. If there was no contract, I'd never care about these things. So the company protocol might require certain behaviors that I think are quite ridiculous, but at the end of the day, because I signed a contract and I want to work for this company, so that's why I do these things. In a personal relationship, the reason we do things for our children, for our parents, for our family, for those people we love, is because at the end of the day, we are invested in this relationship. We care about this relationship. And so we don't want to lose the connection that we have. In fact, we'd like to enhance our relationship. That's what drives us. That's what sits at the core of the behaviors that we follow. So we'll do things, we'll do favors for people, or we'll express our gratitude or our love for those people because there is a relationship. So what sits at the core of our connection to God? What is it that motivates us to do mitzvahs or to commit ourselves to do mitzvahs or to be introspective at this time of the year and question ourselves, have we actually done what it is that Hashem expects of us? The secret to that lies in our most famous prayer. Every single day, twice a day, we're supposed to say this prayer. Shema Yisrael. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. What we're actually saying is, we accept authority. That is what sits at the core of our relationship. The Talmud tells us that the first line of the Shema is an acceptance of divine absolute authority. And then the first paragraph that follows after that is all about commitment to the mitzvahs. You shall love Hashem your God, and you're supposed to wear tefillin and study the Torah and put mezuzahs on your doors. Those are all expressions of behavior. These are the things we do. These are the commitments we make. But what sits at the core of that is Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, that Hashem is our God. We acknowledge that authority, that higher authority. And that's what drives everything about our Jewish experience. That's what motivates us to do what's expected of us. That is what allows us or invites us to do Teshuvah if we have stepped out of line and lost that relationship. Rosh Hashanah, before we get into the details of Teshuvah, which is common not only to Rosh Hashanah, but to all of the 10 days from Rosh Hashanah until Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah first invites us to ask ourselves the question, what drives all of this? What motivates our relationship with God? And if you have a look, you see that Rosh Hashanah is the theme of accepting Hashem's kingship, in other words, authority. We keep using the phrase, Melech, Melech, Avinu, Malkeinu, Meloich, rule over the whole world, because the theme is to remind us that what sits at the core of our relationship with God is our acceptance of His absolute authority. That's what drives us to do mitzvahs. That is what allows us the opportunity to do teshuvah. That is what we focus on and refresh every year on Rosh Hashanah.